And so today is a continuation of last week's video, and so I'm going to show you a series of locations that I've recorded across the eastern half of Texas. And in these places, perhaps I didn't do the best job recording, I wasn't fully prepared, or there just wasn't enough content to justify a full 10-minute video. And so I'm going to give you a brief introduction and some history of these places, but not fully fleshed out like I typically do. So I hope you enjoy this series of short videos.
Got this. Woo! Woo! Oh my God! Here she comes. Oh yeah! Whoa!
This is one of two nuclear power plants in the state of Texas. Construction here began in the year 1975 and cost almost $13 billion. This power plant provides electricity for about 1 million homes across South Texas. I'm sure that this power plant has a robust set of safety features and procedures, and I'm not going to question its safety record over the years. Do we really trust humans with nuclear power over several decades? Think about the devastation of World War II. What happens if we have a World War III on the same scale with the power and technology of modern weapons? Do we really think that these hundreds of nuclear power plants across the world are going to remain stable through all of that? I don't think so. Even though during stable times, they may be cleaner than some other sources of energy, the potential devastation from a meltdown to me is far too great. There's a place about an hour east of San Antonio, tucked away on the Guadalupe River, that is oh so inviting. This is actually an area where the river's been dammed up to form Lake Gonzalez. And it looks like there's all sorts of little nooks and crannies to explore here on this lake. And so I'm going to paddle through it and see what we find. For a very pleasant paddling experience, I highly recommend paddling upstream, up the slough from the boat ramp. This is really nice up through here. Very relaxing, peaceful landscape. In fact, this may be my favorite part of the whole experience. So this is actually not the lake itself, but a slough that leads into it. And so we'll head down through here and join with the main part of the river slash lake. Okay, so I'm back in action again this morning. Yesterday it rained for a couple hours and then the sun came out late in the evening. And so this lake is really, it's not like one big open body of water. It's essentially like a little maze. So now getting back out to the main part of the lake here, I believe this is where the Guadalupe River flowed at the time this lake was dammed up. But there is another section of lake on the other side of those trees there that we're gonna check out today. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the right here, and this little channel here kind of slices across to the south lobe of the lake. So I'll put a little dot on the map here so you can see exactly where I am. All right, so I've made it through this little channel to the other side of the lake here. And so down to the right is a large area that can be explored. It does look like it just gradually gets shallower. To the left here, that takes you toward the dam. Today I'm in Calvert, Texas. Calvert is a town with a lovely main street situated between College Station and Waco along Highway 6. Despite those potential advantages, Calvert is a town that is slowly disappearing behind the beautiful brick of Main Street. This town has lost well over 50% of its population since the 1950s. And so I think that, you know, because this is such a busy highway, these shops and businesses will likely do okay, I think, through time. But it's a bit of a mystery why the population is declining like it is. It's actually pretty unusual for a town this size in this part of Texas. And so this town really grabbed my attention recently when I passed through. It's a town that lies in the heart of cotton country. I believe it had the largest cotton gin in Texas at one time. I tell you one thing that would help the city of Calvert, do something to force the traffic to slow down a bit more as they're here. Not exactly pedestrian friendly, but it is a lovely, lovely town. There's really only one good place to cross the street, which is up here at this light. So in my mind, this town is bursting with potential. But most people look like they're in a hurry to get somewhere else. The El Camino Real, the historic route that passes from Mexico City through Texas to Natchitoches, Louisiana, crosses right through downtown Calvert. Plenty of shopping along the main street here. It's right here on Railroad Street, just a block off Main Street. You have some gorgeous historic buildings here, like this old hotel. Incredible. So continuing along Railroad Street here, we've got the old City Hall, which appears to be completely abandoned. There are a number of historic buildings all around town here. The Sneed Memorial United Methodist Church. This church was built in 1923. Now this Presbyterian church is a real stunner. So apparently this church was built before the Civil War using labor from Calvert Plantation. Then it was moved to Calvert in 1868 and placed at this exact site in 1913. Very spacious, lovely neighborhoods. Beautiful homes. That reminds me of Natchez, Mississippi right there. The Barton home. This house was built in the year 1909. If you're looking for a place to stay in Calvert, you can't go wrong with the Pin Oak Bed and Breakfast. A historic home in one of the prettiest parts of town here. So quiet and peaceful all around here. Just look at the lot this bed and breakfast sits on. Gorgeous big live oaks. Who wouldn't want to stay here? What a beautiful old structure. What was this? So at one time, Calvert was the county seat of Robertson County, and this courthouse was built in 1875. During that time, Calvert was reeling from a yellow fever epidemic, and shortly after this courthouse was begun, Franklin was then named the county seat, and so this was never finished. Later, someone else bought the property and converted it into a residence. As you can see here, the Hammond House. Incredible. This is just another of the many treasures you'll find walking around Calvert to the east of Highway 6. This Episcopal church, I believe, was built in the year 1870. Lovely chapel. So today I'm in the lovely East Texas town of Crockett. It was established in the year 1837 and named after Davy Crockett, who camped near here on his way to the Alamo, where he, along with so many others, paid the ultimate price. Later, this town was a training center for soldiers drafted into the Confederate Army. In the 1880s, a school for African American girls was opened here, which we will see later. The natural resources of the Crockett area included timber and lignite, which is a form of low-grade coal, and this was mined in the early 1900s. So let's have a look around town today and see what we can stumble onto. So now we're at the former site of Marian College. It was founded in 1886 as a Presbyterian all-girls parochial school for African Americans. At the time, it was the only college available to black women in Texas. Eventually, in the 1920s, male students were allowed here. In 1944, it became a 4-year liberal arts institution, but ultimately closed in 1972. This was once a campus of 12 buildings, and this may be all that remains of that institution. So this is the Monroe Crook House, built in the year 1854 by a relative of President James Monroe. So I'm inside the Moosehead Cafe. A friendly gentleman outside said I could go on in and take a look. I ate here a few years back and just had a fantastic experience. Huge building. It was way back here. I really love it when I see small towns preserve and make use of these beautiful historic buildings. Like here at the Moosehead Cafe. This is almost like a museum slash restaurant. You've got a number of historic photos on the walls here that you can look at while you wait for your food to come out. So I'm hiking along the trail here at Meridian State Park in the northernmost part of the Texas Hill Country. And right now I'm taking the loop that goes all the way around the lake. And it's been a really pleasant hike so far. I just love the way these trees look through here. It's a very pleasant, yet in some places rugged landscape. Oh, we got a few steep places through here. Nothing too bad. Nice and rocky, just like I like it. That's a big tree right there. Wow. All right, we've got waterfall number 2 coming out of the spillway here. Keep your eyes open, you never know what you might find. It's a Texas tarantula. Wow.